Hello, Mark Crossfield here. Welcome to the Golf Swing Weekly Fix. We've got more swings coming at you from the apps. We've got question of the week also. Loads to do. Let's get you playing some better golf. Let's get stuck in. So let's take a look at some swings. Here we go. First one sent here. I think this is the high-speed camera on the iPhone. Actually, it's quite a good image. Look, we see massive efforts to try and get the club so far behind you on the backswing. So on a downswing. So like you're trying to hit so much from the inside. And also what we see as well, which worries me a bit here. Obviously the camera angle shows your arms as very low here. They might be quite low, it's quite hard to tell from this angle, but low or high isn't going to make a particular difference. If I just draw a line on your left hip, let's just watch where your hips go in relation, look how far in relationship to the club coming down. So the club is still here, kind of halfway on the downswing, just past, and your hips are just in the next county, so far forwards of where your arms are coming down to where the clubs are. So your body's very out of sync. Club is basically left completely behind you in this swing. Look, if I just compare here, we've got Darren Clark's swing here sent via, this is the Your Golf travel footage I took with Darren. Done the same thing with Darren for you here to look at as well. If we just bring him up to the top, I've drawn a line also on his left hip. Now if we start him down, get his arms down to a similar position, so here, look at his left hip, gone forwards, but considerably less than yours. Look how far forward your left hip has gone. So the club is way, way behind you, so what we see as kind of flattening back behind you. So basically the club is too far behind you with your hips too far forward, which is always going to encourage the club to kind of come in a little bit. So basically if I'm hitting this way, the club is too flat, too far behind you. It's going to really encourage you swinging out to the right and have to rotate the club around quite a long way to get any kind of impact conditions that will find the target there. So we need to think about getting you to get your hips calm down, basically. You've got your hips, starting the downswing with your hips kind of theory, which people talk about, almost to the extreme, too much. I would like you to see you start making a few downswings where you actually feel like you swing more with your arms and less with your body. So feel like you're just trying to get your arms to catch up. The other thing you're going to get here as well is you're going to get huge amounts of kind of handle forward, club back if you're not careful. As you're rotating the face, you're going to have to calm that rotation down with some kind of handle lifting as well, which is dangerous. So for you, it's a basic, I mean, look at this angle, it's amazing. If we bring, again, Darren into impact here, if I just draw a straight line up, say, from the ball, we see a little bit of spine axis tilt with his hips just set slightly forwards, okay? Now for you, look at that. It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, that's hurting my back. Look at that massive spine angle tilt. The ball would be, say, about here. So your body has gone far too far forward. So you're almost getting your body too far through. So it's a case of trying to calm your hips down and get your arms almost trying to swing ahead of your body a bit more. You've taken the hips first on the downswing almost a little bit too much to an extreme. Hope that helps. Let me know how you go. So another swing sent through the app. If we have a look at this, you're training with your little training aid in the garden, it looks like here, which is all good. So look, we need to try and get rid of this run away from the ball. So I'm just going to draw a line up from the ball. Let's bring you back to the start. So the camera's wobbling around a little bit, but your left ear is pretty close to being on that line. You then basically run away from that line. So we see a collapsing of the right knee. That moves out. We need to try and keep that right knee from doing that. You want to feel like you're turning more against that right knee. We see your upper body, basically everything just sways to your right, which is always going to make impact difficult to get any kind of consistency of. Again, if we bring Darren back here, let's get rid of these original lines here from the last person. Let's just draw a line up from the ball for Darren. My camera angle's obviously not so good here for straight. Let's pretend that is a straight line in line with that tree, say in the distance, because you always got parallax involved with cameras, which is the problem with doing what we're doing here actually. But look, much less of a pullback from Darren from that line at the top of his backswing, and also much more turning kind of into that right side rather than beyond it. So for you, it's a case of really trying to get this firmed up a little bit more. So the right knee needs a little bit of control, which will calm down the hip rotation, which will then calm down the shoulder rotation, which will then calm down how far back your arms go and the club goes. So if you tighten that bottom screw up a little bit more, the rest of it will tighten up accordingly. In theory, not always, but in most cases. So we just need to get that tightened up to get you hitting some slightly stronger, more solid shots, help you get through the ball a bit better, and help tighten up this kind of wobbling backswing a little bit, which is a bit frightening for such a long club. You can see here at impact you're in a bit of a mess coming down into the ball. Not really sure what you're doing with your legs, not sure what you're doing with your arms, just kind of flicking the club up at the ball a little bit. But that's all going to come from this kind of lack of stability on the backswing. Get that backswing more solid, you'll find your impact position will improve, your shots definitely will improve. So question here from Nick. Hi, I seem to hit all my irons very high and want to get more penetrating ball flight. I'm looking at the new Titleist AP2s. Do you think these will promote a lower ball flight, or would you recommend getting them custom fit, say to 2 degrees stronger setup, so stronger in lofts, he's saying there. Currently using TaylorMade R11 with dynamic gold stiff shafts. I play off 11 at the moment, but on the way down, and target next season is single figures. Regards, Nick. Good question, common question. You want technique, you want equipment to sort out the issue. If you're hitting your irons too high, which I don't know you are, but you suggest you are, then you must be delivering different loft, so at impact. So getting your lofts strengthened in whatever set, let's say AP2 over R11, might go a fraction lower, but not much in those two for getting it a little bit lower. That might encourage you to promote an impact with 2 degrees less dynamic loft. Not always, but might do, which then might keep that ball flight down. The bigger question for me is, why are your balls going up too high? Why are your shots flying up too high? It's not the club that's doing that. So if I hit your R11, it won't go too high. And it's because of the loft I present. The dynamic loft at impact that I present will be truer to what kind of flight I want. If I want it to go higher, I present more dynamic loft, and I want it to go lower, I present less. That can be done in a number of ways. Mainly how far forward is the hosel of the head is the one that's going to change, or back, the dynamic loft to impact. Lots of people out there looking for shaft changes, they're looking for head changes to change their ball flight, where I can change someone's ball flight in a lesson within 10 minutes. If they can hit target or not with that new ball flight is the bigger question, which we'd work on doing. I can, in a club fit, changing ball flight noticeably, measurably, is really, really difficult. From the bladed irons up to your game improvements, you'll be amazed, certainly in lawn, how different or not that different they are, subject to how hard you hit it. So the club fitting can do it to a certain extent on height. It's not going to do it as much as you believe. The reason your balls are going high is because obviously you're presenting more loft than you want on your club, and that's the thing that needs fitting, which again is my old story, my old kind of here he goes again, but go and get a lesson. Get a lesson on a good launch monitor, see what dynamic loft you're presenting, and then take it from there to get that fixed. Hope that helps. Thanks for posing the question. If you have a lesson, let me know what dynamic loft numbers you're presenting. Let's see where that height was come from. Be interesting to know. And we'll speak to you soon. So, very good looking swing here. Let's just run it through to start us off. Powerful, good actions. Love the indoor range. Look, you're hitting it into the universe. Okay, I mean, there's some strong positions in this action. I wouldn't really want to change anything without kind of talking to you more about what you want your shots to do. I can't imagine you hit a fade that successfully with this action. I'm sure you draw the ball quite well. Look, let me show you what I mean. Posture to start us off, if we just bring mine in, what you're going to notice with my posture, you're going to see this with better players, is you're going to see arms hanging down under shoulders. So arms are literally hanging down under my shoulders. That's because I've got my pelvis tilted forward, which then in turn leans my back forward or my spine forwards. For you, your arms are just a little bit fishing out in front of you. So I would like to see you just lean over a little bit more, get those arms under your shoulders a fraction more, which will just mean you have to tilt the pelvis slightly further forward at address. But I mean, there's lots of good positions here. You're very close with your setup. So if we take you through, first thing we notice, it's a bit of a blurred camera, obviously indoor often is, but we see a club face which is slightly twisted. to what we would call a closed position traditionally. Close to what, like I say, is another kind of concept, but that club face has twisted from where it started, which might be grip. I can't see your grip here, so I would certainly check grip. Right hand grip looks like it might be a little bit too far under the club, so I'd check grip. So what happens is the club face gets a little closed at the top, then we see a downswing, which is built very much around trying to point things off to the right, swing the club off to the right, because you've got to remember your face has got a good chance of being closed to this path because of the way your grip is set and the way you're setting that club on the way back. So for you to swing straight through and have your face closed to that path is a bad thing. The ball would start left and go left. So you're doing everything you can to try and get the club head, so the mass of the club, moving to the right as you hit the ball. And you do that by not really opening up your shoulders much on the way through. Let me just bring my one through to show you. So as I come down in to hit the ball, what you're going to see is my left arm gets out of the way a lot earlier. My shoulders are opening up as my hips open. If we have you at the same position, which is about there, you're about the same position there actually. If we just move this over, we'll see both. Just pre-impact. See how much of your left arm is still in camera here, because you're leaving your shoulders back. You're trying to shove the club path out to the right because you know that face is closed to that path. Now look, this isn't a bad thing. And then you can see at the end, certainly not as rotated around, certainly in your hips as I would be. So your shoulders have gone all the way around, but your hips haven't opened up as much. They're still trying to point a little bit out that way, because again, you're trying to make sure the club is always moving to the right. Now look, this isn't a bad thing. This isn't a lesson almost. This is almost a lesson for you guys and girls out there, knowing that if that is working for you, if you're hitting good shots and getting the desired shape you want, and you don't mind that you can't hit one shape, Montgomery only hit one shape, Tom Lehman won a major only hitting one shape shot. You don't have to move the ball both ways. You know, you're a good player by the looks of that swing. You might want to develop different shots, so you would have to change maybe the style of your swing is definitely built around a club path that wants to be pushing quite heavily to the right, due to that club face being closed. So grip check, watch the grip videos, loads of them on YouTube, definitely check that. And then check what happens to your club face if you move your grip as you make your backswing, and then try and open up a bit more on the way through. If you want to change the way you're hitting the ball. If you're happy with the way you're hitting the ball and the shape you're hitting it, then keep doing what you're doing, because there's a lot of good movements in there to hitting one shape shot. Hope it helps. So that's clear. Kind of shows you how with some people, for coaches, it's not about changing people just because they don't fit into what they should look like. It's about changing people to make them hit shots that they feel they need to hit and you think they need to hit to play better golf. You know, if someone took Monty as a junior and tried to get him to hit a draw rather than a fade, you know, he was a pretty good player hitting his shape. And the same with Tom Lehman. Someone tried to get him hitting a fade rather than a draw, you know, you'd be going around it the wrong way. It's about getting you to play to your strengths. If your strength is that shape, then play with it. But if you're looking at changes, definitely go and see someone about your grip and your club face control, and then just a little bit about how you turn on the way through. I think you'll hit some better shots. So another swing through the apps. Here we go. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, so what we're seeing here, pretty good setup. A little bit what people would call a laid off backswing, whatever that means in the real world, but yes, it's definitely slightly pointing off to the right. If we just track your hand path, let's guess they're going to be about there. Yes, they are. Yeah, you just see the club. It's an interesting this one. It starts under the hand plane, but gets out in front of it very early. So it gets out in front of the hand plane about here, doesn't it? The club head just gets over the top of the hand plane here, which is going to have a good chance of making you hit down and to the left, giving you, I'm sure, a little bit of a cut spin on your shot. So if we bring my one over here, let's just bring a hand path in, say about there, probably my hand path. So look, that club does not get above that hand path. It's still below it now. It's just leveling up with it now as it comes down into the ball, so much closer to the ball. So for you, what happens is that slight, what people call laid off backswing. So that backswing where you just slightly, if we take it back here, get it set a little bit, what people would call behind you or flat here, laying it off just encourages the wrist to just flip that club out in front of you a little bit on the way down. Purely what I would do, when it changes, you can see it on the way through actually as well, the way the left arm comes into view here, as you try not to let the club face go left of that path going left. You're trying to almost hold it off to get that desired shape back to target. I would like to see you try and get the classic example of trying to get the club head lower than the hand path on the downswing. Forget the backswing. What happens for me, lots of students when I do this with them, and they've got similar backswings to that, is they work out their backswing just without me telling them that needs to get into a different place to help them get the club dropping below the head, below the hand path on the downswing. So they sort the backswing out by trying to initiate a different downswing quite often. So really it's a case of on the downswing, trying to get, if we draw your hand path on here, let's say your hand path's about there, just try and get this club. So at this stage, I'd like to see the club lying behind you, where you can just see the club's a little bit out in front of you. The hands have gone forwards and the club's just about to get out in front of that hand path. It's about just trying to drop that club down to about waist height before then spinning it out to the ball. I think you'll just slightly change the way you hit the ball. I reckon you hit pretty good shots, and I would say you're probably quite a consistent golfer with that action actually. But I reckon you would just up the notch a little bit on your performance if you could just sort that hand path and club path out for a little bit more consistent shaping of the ball. Hope that helps. Let me know how you get on. What's going on here? Don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel. Also thumbs up the video, post comments. Love to hear what you guys got to say. Let's keep it social. The more we talk, the more we share, the easier this game will get for everybody. So if you want to find me on Facebook here, you can find me on Facebook. If you want to tweet me, find me on Twitter here as well. Just follow the links, all in the description. Come and join the show. Get active, get involved, get playing some better golf. Thanks for watching.